about their landscape and their lawns, what this winter weather is going to, how it's going to impact it, because we've kind of gone from fall to a very harsh winter condition.
Nothing in between.
Right.
We need a little winter though, so a little cold weather won't hurt us, especially our fruit growers are looking for these chill hours to accumulate. Let's start this afternoon by looking at the USDA hardiness zone map. This was updated in late 2023. And Ashley, that red line there that kind of separates northern Louisiana from central Louisiana is everything above that red line is now zone 8B. And what that means is, for one thing, there's no zone 8A anymore in northern Louisiana. But that 8B means that plants considered hardy will survive temperatures from 20 degrees Fahrenheit all the way down to 15 degrees Fahrenheit. And so that's the definition of hardy. If a plant is hardy, just means it'll survive the winter unaided. And we're not going to get that cold. We're not going to get down into the 20-degree mark or down into the teens. So I really don't anticipate a lot of, or any damage really, to our landscapes with the current temperatures that are predicted. If we stay in the high 20s, low 30s, we should be fine. Now, we go back to this definition of hardy. I say plants that will survive the winter unaided. When we start talking about tropicals and citrus trees, everybody worries about their lemon trees and citrus up this way. That's another issue. But woody perennials, things like your azaleas, camellias, gardenias, your foundation plantings around your home, folks, those are all going to be just fine. There's no need to cover those. There's no need to take any measures. And certainly our natives are adapted to our climate, and so they're going to be just fine as well. And we get into the problems where we start having tropicals and tender perennials, and these are the things that could see some damage, although I doubt it. A lot of this depends on the low temperature, what the low temperature actually is, when we reach that low temperature, how long we stay there. Things that you might see some bite back on are some tropicals, tender perennials like everything considered an elephant ear, alocasia, colocasia, things like that. And then of course annuals, but like I say, I doubt it even then that we'll see a lot of damage across the area in gardens and landscapes. Now, if you have a citrus tree, everybody who has a citrus tree, especially planted in ground, if it's in a container, of course, you can move it indoors or to the south side of a building or structure. But when you go to cover trees, it's important to do what's on the left there. Make sure that whatever you're covering that tree or shrub with, if you're going to do this, reaches all the way to the ground so it will trap heat in. Don't just tie it off to the stem, let it go all the way down. And if you can even put some stakes in the ground to keep the cover off the foliage, that will help too. Breathable fabric is preferred. We really discourage the use of plastic like visqueen or a tarp, something like that, because once the sun comes out the next day, you run a risk of just frying that plant, and that's what you don't want to do. So I don't expect a lot of problems, just in short. So.
Should we bring in our potted plants just to be safe?
Yeah, you can do that, or move them into the garage, bring them in, especially if you've got citrus growing in a container. Just move it somewhere where it's sheltered and it should be fine.
All right, thank you so much. And up next, Farm to Table after the break. Stay with us.
Trade names are used by the LSU Ag Center for clarity and information purposes only. Neither commercial endorsement of specific products nor a recommendation to the exclusion of similar products is implied.